All right, let's talk cookware. If you've ever stood in a kitchen store or just scrolled online, completely paralyzed trying to figure out which non-toxic pan to buy, you know the feeling. You've got the shiny, professional-looking stainless steel on one side and the colorful, trendy ceramic pans on the other. It feels like a simple choice, but wow, does the internet have opinions. So in this explainer, we're going to cut through all that noise and get you some real answers.
And this Reddit user just hits the nail on the head, right? You've heard all the scary stuff about old-school nonstick pans, and you decide, okay, time to upgrade. But the second you do, you run smack into a new problem. What's actually better? Stainless steel? Ceramic? And that's exactly what we're going to clear up right now. So, to get you that clarity, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at what these pans are actually made of. Then, we'll put them head-to-head in a cook-off to see how they perform. We'll talk durability, how long they'll last, and then tackle the big one, health and safety. After that, we'll cover how to take care of them, and we'll wrap it all up by helping you figure out how to build the perfect kitchen arsenal for you.
Okay, first things first. What are we even talking about here? It's time to get past all those marketing buzzwords and look at what's really going on under the surface of these pans.
So let's start with stainless steel. You know, the professional workhorse. It's not just a solid chunk of steel. The really good pans are cladded. That means they've got a secret layer of a superconductive metal, like aluminum or copper, sandwiched right in the middle. And that right there is the secret sauce. It's what gives it that incredibly fast, even heating that professional chefs absolutely swear by.
Now let's talk ceramic, because this is where things get a little confusing for most people. See those trendy, colorful pans you see all over Instagram? They aren't actually solid ceramic. Most of them are just aluminum pans with a really thin, non-stick coating that's sprayed on top. And that coating is made from silica, which is basically a fancy word for a material that comes from sand.
But, and this is a big but, there's also 100% pure ceramic cookware. And this stuff is a completely different beast. It's made from clay and minerals, fired in a super hot kiln, just like pottery. There's no metal core, no coating, it's just one solid piece. You really got to understand this difference, because it changes everything about how the pan performs and how you use it.
Okay, so we know what they're made of, but how does that translate to actually cooking on your stove? Let's get into it, because their construction has a huge impact on what they can and can't do with your food.
This really is the whole story in a nutshell. Stainless steel is the searing king. It's built to handle high heat, giving you that gorgeous brown crust on a steak and leaving behind those magical little brown bits. That's called fond, which are the secret to incredible pan sauces. On the other hand, ceramic is the gentle specialist. Its whole purpose in life is to be non-stick, making it perfect for delicate foods you just can't risk having stick to the pan.
So, the bottom line is this. If you want to sear a beautiful steak, get a nice char on your vegetables, or build one of those amazing, complex sauces you see in restaurants, stainless steel is your guy. It is the undisputed champion for jobs that need high heat and pinpoint temperature control.
But for those morning slidey eggs, for perfectly flipped pancakes, or for a delicate piece of fish that would just fall apart on any other surface, well, the ceramic-coated pan is the clear winner. That non-stick surface was literally designed for exactly these kinds of jobs.
Okay, performance is one thing, but let's talk about something your wallet really cares about. How long is this pan actually going to last? Because believe me, the answers here could not be more different.
I absolutely love this comment from Reddit because it just perfectly captures the truth about any pan with a coating. That non-stick surface, it's not permanent. Think of that as a consumable item, something that, by its very nature, is designed to wear out over time.
And here's what that looks like in the real world. That ceramic coating is sometimes called self-sacrificing. It literally gives up a little bit of itself every time you cook. If you're super careful, you might get 3 years out of a good one. A quality stainless steel pan, though, it has no coating to fail. It can last a lifetime, and it often does.
I mean, this chart just makes it crystal clear, doesn't it? You can basically think of stainless steel as a forever pan, a one-time investment. A ceramic-coated pan, on the other hand, is more of a short timer. You'll probably end up replacing it several times over the lifespan of just one stainless steel pan.
All right, now for the big one. The question that probably brought a lot of you here in the first place. Which one of these is actually safer for you and your family? Let's separate the real facts from the fear-mongering.
So the whole reason we're even having this conversation is because of concerns over a group of chemicals called PFAS. You might have heard them called forever chemicals. They were in a lot of traditional nonstick coatings like old-school Teflon, and the issue is that when they get overheated, they can break down and release toxic fumes.
And look, this isn't just some theoretical risk. As this Reddit user who owns birds points out, those fumes can be lethal to small animals. And when you hear that, it makes the potential risk for humans feel a whole lot more real. So how do our two contenders stack up? Well, ceramic's #1 selling point is that it is completely PFAS-free, zero risk of those toxic fumes. Stainless steel is also widely considered non-toxic. The only thing to be aware of is that it can leach really tiny amounts of nickel and chromium into your food, especially if you're cooking something very acidic, like tomato sauce for a long, long time. Now, for most of us, this is totally harmless, but it's something to consider if you have a known severe metal allergy.
Okay, you've picked a pan, you've brought it home, now what? Let's talk about what it takes to care for it day to day, because the requirements for these two are like night and day.
Taking care of a ceramic-coated pan is all about protecting that delicate surface. You basically have to baby it. That means never ever using metal utensils, only wood or silicone. You have to avoid high heat, which can damage the coating. It's always hand wash only, and you can only use a soft sponge.
Stainless steel, on the other hand, is an absolute tank. You can use metal utensils on it, no problem. You can crank the heat up as high as you want, and when it's time to clean, you can throw it in the dishwasher. If something gets really burnt on, you can go to town on it with steel wool or an abrasive scrubber. It's built to take a beating.
All right, we've covered what they're made of, how they cook, how long they last, safety and care. So, what's the final verdict? Which one should you buy? Let's put all the pieces together and figure out what belongs in your kitchen.
When you look at it all laid out like this, you realize the big secret. These two pans aren't really competing against each other. They're specialists for completely different jobs. Your stainless steel pan is your forever pan, the workhorse for searing and high-heat cooking. The ceramic pan is your disposable pan, the short-term specialist just for non-stick tasks. And that's why so many chefs and experts actually recommend owning both. Get a great stainless steel skillet for 90% of your cooking, and then just have a small, inexpensive ceramic pan on hand specifically for your morning eggs.
So in the end, we need to completely reframe the question. It's not about which pan is better overall. The real goal is to start thinking like a chef and to ask yourself, which pan is the right tool for this meal? And when you start thinking that way, you'll find you always have the perfect pan for the job.